Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Alex Beyond Thoughts podcast with me, your host, Alex. I'm super excited for today's episode. We have a very cool guest who you would have seen by the title, but I wanted to give a little intro. We have Tiana. Tiana helps you get your marketing right, get your leads warm and toasty, and create content that converts your audience. I'm so excited for this episode. Please welcome Tiana.
Hi. Oh my God, that was the best
Hi.
intro. Like,
Yeah, do you like
oh,
it?
I love it. I love it. How are you?
Amazing. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm really excited for this conversation.
Me too. I'm very excited. How has your day been so far? We're on two different time zones, so Tiana's pretty early.
I know. What's the word? Oh my God, I can't even get the words out. I didn't realize how like polar opposite the time zones were. I thought they might have been like closer, but I'm actually glad that we made it work. But yeah, so far so good. I've got my coffee. And I've sat down, I just watched the sunrise because I was up early enough for that. And that's sort of it so far, which is good.
I love that. I love a sunrise. I love a sunset. Just what sat there like watching it happen. I'm like, wow, this is so magical. I love that for you.
Yeah. And it's like something so simple to start and end the day, but it makes a world of difference. I don't know.
Mhm. It's so cool. Well,
Mm.
let's head straight into it because I don't want to waste a second with you. I kind of want to start off at the start of your journey. I know that you've got your degree and you are maybe at the start of this story in that degree, maybe you're starting even further previous to that. But like, what led you into marketing and journalism? And like, what kind of was the early stages of building that enthusiasm for marketing?
Oh my goodness. Okay, let me go back to the start. So, my degrees are not, I've got two degrees. I've got a Bachelor of Journalism and a Bachelor of Communications and Media, and I majored in digital media. I was like, yep, cool. I like creating videos. Like I always edited holiday vlogs and all of that sort of stuff when I was younger. And I was like, that's really cool. But my primary driver for all of that was that I wanted to meet celebrities and I wanted to travel the world and be able to work from anywhere. That was me at 15. And as I like started my degree, I learned very quickly that doing the newsroom thing as a journalist was absolutely not for me. I hated calling people. I didn't have the confidence for it whatsoever. And I was like, I really hate this. I really don't want to do it. And I almost threw it all in. I was 6 months from finishing and I almost threw it all in. And my mum was like, no, just finish it. Like, you're almost there. Don't be silly. Like, you're probably just having like a quarter life crisis or something. Just keep going. So I finished it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take 6 months off because it took me 4.5 years to do both of those. I took 6 months off and I just kind of worked and had a little bit of fun, nothing crazy. And then I was like, okay, I need to start looking for jobs. And I was like, I don't really know what I want to do. So I was looking at journalism jobs. I'd applied for like a big network here, had an interview, didn't get the job, and I was really disappointed. And I was like, oh, maybe I do want to do journalism. And my auntie sent me through a job advertisement for a social media assistant. And she was like, you love social media. This might be something really good for you. And it's just around the corner from home. And I was like, oh, true. Like, didn't even cross my mind as it was a job that could be, I don't know, something that you could do. So I applied for it and I got a phone call the next day and they were like, oh, we would love you to come in. And I ended up getting that job. And I basically started a social media assistant. I just did all their socials in house for this business. And then as the role progressed, I turned into like a marketing manager and I managed a team of girls and I had a little bit more in like, we did all different things. We did events, we did like courses and like setting up the platforms and the programs and all that sort of stuff. And then it just kind of like expanded. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. And that sort of got to a point where I couldn't really grow in that business all that much. And I was building websites on the side. And my best friend at the time, who wasn't my best friend at the time, we were just, she was my fitness coach actually. She was like, hey, can you build me a website? You're really creative. I think I don't trust anyone, but I would trust you. I was like, yeah, I can do that. I've done that before. Like built her website. She's like, you could make this a business. And I was like, oh, could I? No, I couldn't do that. And I did a few graphics for her and like pull up banners for like events and stuff. She was like, no, seriously, I think you could make this a business. And I was like, oh, okay. So I started an Instagram account and I just like started posting little bits and pieces of like what I was doing. And well, he was my partner at the time, but now he's my husband. He was working for a car panel shop and he was like, hey, I think my boss needs someone to do socials. He's doing it all himself. I'll just like mention it, whatever. So he just like mentioned it and his boss was like, yeah, can she come in? And so I was trying to work full time and do this, but he was basically one of my first clients. I had another client come on board and then I had a friend a couple months later refer someone else and it sort of just like kicked off from there, the agency side of things. And then as I was like talking to these business owners about how to do things, I was like, oh, actually, I think like consulting is much more me. Like I got more fulfillment out of seeing them implement something and then come back and be like, wow, that was really cool. Such and such replied to my LinkedIn post. And then, yeah, so I sort of let the agency stuff go. I didn't want to do that anymore. And I just didn't advertise it. I only advertised like coaching and consulting. And then recently I had an opportunity to sort of merge with someone that I contracted for. And now we're back in the agency side, which is really cool. But that is sort of how I got into it. It was just someone saying, you could make a business out of this. And I was like, what? There's no way. But I absolutely could make a business out of it.
That's so cool. I love
Yeah.
that snowball effect of like one
Yeah.
decision here, a few decisions there, like a few yeses here, maybe a no somewhere else. And actually, it
Yeah.
spiraled into this amazing thing that, like you said, wait, I could make a business out of this. This could work. Like, this could be a successful thing. And now it is so successful, and you are doing so much, and it's so cool. Like, I love that.
Yeah. It was just crazy. And like, I just never thought about anything outside of a full-time employment role. And like, which is crazy because my mum has her own business. So it's always been like a thing in our family. It's just been
Mm.
normalized. And I just never thought anything outside of, oh, yep, I work for somebody. I just work full time. And like, that's sort of it.
And
So
that's the
it's,
path. Like, there's
yeah,
a set thing. That's the path you do it.
you can't stray from it. That's the only way, but it's definitely not the only way.
Absolutely. That was so cool. I love that. And it's like it's lovely how it's also intersected with your partner and
Yeah.
opportunities there as well. Like, oh, I love that.
I even helped him. He had a like car detailing business for a little while, and he was posting the most awful, awful images on social media. And I was like, "Give it to me, I will do it." And then we built him to like a fully booked out business, which was really, really cool. And it was honestly over like we were posting like a couple of videos a week of just like the before and afters, some like time lapse stuff, nothing crazy, just like photos, a couple of reels, and it just yeah, he was like fully booked out, which was really really cool to be like, oh, this shit
Mm,
works. Like
yeah, that's so sick.
yeah,
And it's cool that like as well within that, you really had to take decisions and leaps for yourself. You had to decide that okay, this is an opportunity I have to say yes to. Or even if it wasn't that dramatic, you were like, oh, this is a cool thing, or let me try it. You had to make those decisions to say, maybe this is my path forward, even if I'm not 100% sure, even if it's not
100%.
paying all the bills right now or whatever, this might
Yeah.
be the path for me because at least I'm enjoying this thing.
Yeah. No, I'm very much a action taker. I'm very logical and like strategic in my decisions, but I'm very much like, I just need to fuck around and find out. Like it either works or it doesn't, but like let's just do it and see what happens. It's always paid
Do you
off
think
though.
that's like an innate thing? Yeah, yeah, that's the thing.
I
Is that like
do
an
think
innate
it's
feeling in you?
yeah. So my
Mm.
I sort of was very calculated. I still am very calculated in what I do, but I was probably too calculated, too logical, and like thought things through a little bit too much. And my best friend, I don't know if you know much about human design. It's similar. I could really butcher this. I think it's something to do with like science and astrology, and it merges the two. It's not
Mm.
just astrology, there's like actual science behind it. But essentially, something for me and my human design is that I need to listen to my gut more, my intuition, And my best friend was doing readings and stuff for that. And I was like, oh, I'll pay you. Like, do one for me. I'm so interested. And that was something she said to me. She's like, you know, that little tiny gut feeling that you have and it disappears after half a second. She's like, that's the voice you need to listen to. And I was like, oh, okay. And ever since she told me that, I was like, oh, I'll just do it. And I would just like act on whims and like that little tiny feeling of like, and the way she described it was, you put the lid on the blender and then you have this feeling of maybe I should just double check it. She's like, that is the voice that you need to listen to. So I started doing that.
Wow.
And honestly, it just snowballed from there. Like that was the biggest game changer where I didn't think as hard about it. Everything was still kind of calculated, but it was more of like, oh, my gut's telling me that that's the thing I need to do. So like, let's just do it.
That's so cool. I don't think I've ever heard it like that half second, that like the
Yeah.
thing that makes you double check something, like that tiny little whisper of something, that's the intuition. For me, I've
Yeah.
always felt it like in my body. I feel like I'm quite
Yeah.
a visceral like feeler in my body, to the point where I also know when I'm ignoring it. Like I know when I'm shutting down and
Yeah.
numbing out and like not feeling into it. So
I
that's
don't
so
want,
funny because I don't. Oh, sorry. I think you've broken up a little bit.
I think, are we
Oh, no,
good
you're
now?
back. You're back. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Yeah, I've always felt like that thing in my body is what you've just described. So that's really cool to be able to put words to like that little half second. That's, yeah, I love
She's
that.
the same. She feels it more in her, like she'll have a physical response to something, and she's like, oh, okay, I don't like here or there. I'll get like a feeling of like, or a wave of like, oh, I feel ill, but it's like that's
Mhm.
sort of the extent of mine. It's more just like that little voice in my mind that's like, just fucking do it. Like, what do you mean? You need to do that. And I'm like, okay, I need to do that.
That's so cool.
Yeah, you'll have to look into human design.
No, absolutely. I feel like the way you described it first by being like, it's a little bit of science, a little bit of like astrology, like a little bit of other things all mixed in. That's kind of the only terminology I have for human design. I've heard
Yeah,
people talk about it quite a lot, but like
yeah.
nothing in it has ever super, super stuck with me. So I do need to definitely research into it more. Maybe get like a
I think
reading. I think it's called a reading, maybe.
she called them readings. It was really interesting. Like I mapped out my mum's the other day because I was talking to her about something, and it's the way that it's mapped out. It just tells you like it tells you a whole bunch of different things, but it basically tells you how you should operate and like the best way to operate. So something for me, and this relates to business, is I the way that I sort of operate in life is I oversee things. I like to just observe, and then I kind of like show the path, and that makes a lot of sense to me. And it's also a little bit around I need to wait for the invitation. So if I was doing something salesy, for example, and I just went out and did random outreach to somebody, it's 9 times out of 10 going to be met with resistance. Versus if someone came to me and
Mm,
was like, oh, hey, can you tell me about XYZ? Or what's the best way to do this? Or what's the best way to do that? Versus me just giving them advice, it's going to be well received. So that was a really interesting thing for me because I hate outbound stuff but I'm also really impatient. So I'm like, oh, I got to do what I got to do. But it's
yeah.
definitely helped me build better relationships with people, like whether business or not, by waiting for them to come to me and ask questions around things instead of me saying, hey, you should do this. It's going to be way better. So that's interesting as well.
Yeah. That's really cool. I resonate with that a little bit. I feel like for me, I have to lead with connection first. I have to lead with heart first. And it sounds like you're a little bit like that.
Yeah.
But other people are like, I can cold call, I will cold DM, like anything.
No,
And it just, my body like clams up. I'm like, no, what do
like,
you mean? I'm just going to slide into someone's DMs and suggest something that they've never
it just
heard of me before, potentially. Oh,
it
that gives
gives
me the shivers. I'm like, oh no, what do
yes,
you mean?
like sleazy man vibes, and I just am not for it.
Absolutely. And it's the same in reverse. Like if someone cold
Oh
comes to
yeah,
me, like I've never built a relationship with them before and they're trying to pitch me something, I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Do I
no,
even know
thank you.
your name? Like, do I even know anything about you for me to be buying a service from you or like having a chat to you about something? I'd love to at least be like, hey, I loved your t-shirt. Cool.
Yeah,
Like something.
warm me up a little bit, butter me up, make me feel good, and then pitch me.
Exactly. Exactly. I love that. Okay. I kind of wanted to ask you about building a life that reflects your ambition. Because from an outside perspective, me looking in on yours, on your socials, things that you're posting, I'm like, wow, that is an ambitious life. That is someone who is living a life that reflects their level of ambition. And I think it's really cool. And I don't necessarily know if you have 3 million more aspirations and like you're not even scratching the surface of your ambition and things. But in terms of building that, at least so that me on the outside thinks she's hitting everything she wants. She's getting what she wants. Like she's working hard. What does it take for you and in your experience to build that? And do you feel like your life is reflecting your ambition right now?
I feel like, yeah, it definitely is reflecting my ambition. I think in terms of building it, for me, like if I look at business alone, everything I do in business, every choice I make or every decision I make has to reflect the long term goal for me. So the long term goal is always to have flexibility and an element of freedom. And whether that is time in the day to be able to go to the doctor when I want to go to the doctor and not ask somebody, or to go on a holiday and not work, or choice with whatever it is, like everything has to make sense with that goal in mind. And I think if I think about regular life, I guess it's just like that thing that we were just talking about, like just make the decision and do it and run with it, and if it works it works, if it doesn't it doesn't. I think you have to have a lot of self trust. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that
Mm,
comes with building evidence that you can do whatever it is that you want to do. So I think it's a
mm,
like at the start of my business journey, there was a lot of like, oh, what if, or like, what if this happens, or like, what's the worst thing that could happen? Okay, it fails, and I go and get a job. Like that's the worst thing. It's like, oh, okay. And as I started that, and I got my first client, and I got my second client, and I got my third client, and I went to a networking event, and it didn't crash and burn, and I could go on a holiday. I was like, oh, I've got all of this evidence now that I can get a client through social media and marketing. I can keep a client for 12 months. And I think that then fuels the ambition of, okay, well, what can I do now? Like, what can I achieve more so than what I have? And I think too, like what you said, there's like a million other things that I want to achieve, like materialistic and not. But I'm like also content. So there's always the drive and the hunger to want it. But I'm also like, I love what I have so far.
mm. That's so powerful. I love that for you so much. I really, really like the self trust element because if
Mm,
people listening have been listening to the podcast for a while, they will know that I bang on and on and on and on about self trust, about building evidence for yourself, and about
love.
being the person who can deal with the consequences of their actions, of their choices, no matter what. So, whether that is the consequences are great, the consequences are not so great, you become a person resilient enough and able enough and skilled enough to deal with the consequences of your choices, regardless of what they are. So I think exactly what you just said in that, like, you've
Yeah.
had to build that in yourself. And the way you've built that is just by consistently showing up,
Yeah.
creating that evidence for yourself, and documenting, whether it is online or in your personal life or in your business or whatever, that that is the case. I love that.
Something else, I was like, do I want to share this? But I will. My best friend is really good at like reflecting things to me that I don't necessarily see. I just go by my day, right? I'm like, yep, just tick the boxes, whatever. I know I need to do this. I know I need to show up. And like, I'll say, oh, I want XYZ. I want to live by the beach, for example, was I really want to be by the water. I really want to be down on the south coast, like where we live. And all of a sudden, like we had this opportunity to move down here. And she said to me one day, she was like, do you realize how powerful your manifestation skills are? And I was like, no, what do you mean? She was like, well, everything that you've said you've wanted, you've gotten. And not like by sitting there and doing nothing. You've obviously always worked towards it. She's like, but every single thing you've said that you like were wanted or going to do, like you just did it. And I was like, no, that's just not. She's like, you needed to save X amount of dollars for your wedding. Done. She's like, you didn't want to have a big wedding, but you did have a big wedding. Done. She's like, you went on a 5 week honeymoon to the US. Done. She's like, you moved down south. Done. You competed. And I was like, oh, you're not wrong, right? And we never like, nothing ever took away from, oh, we can't do this because we have to do that, or we can't do that because we need to do this.
Mm,
Like, And then, yeah, so it just puts into perspective like how powerful speaking what you want is too, I think. And I think that also helps with self-trust. Like when you put it out there, it's like, oh, I'm going to
Mm,
follow through. So you take more action to achieve that thing, which then gives you the evidence that you can do what you've said you can or you will.
that's so powerful.
Yeah.
And it like there's two things to that. Your incredible manifestation powers. That's so cool. I love that. But also like for you personally, does it come first the speaking it aloud or does it come first the action taking to then have confidence in the words that you're speaking?
For me, it's more the action taking. I went down this phase of speaking it out loud, but I was telling it to people. And at the time, I was probably
Mm,
telling it to the wrong people. You know how sometimes people are, they kind of dull your like big ambitions, like, oh, like you want that car, like you got to make millions to have that car, or you like that's a bit out of reach, don't you think? So I kind of learned very quickly to do and then tell people after the fact instead of being like, hey, I'm
mm,
going to do XYZ. I'm going to build a course or I'm going to do this with the business. And then they're like, oh, why would you do that? Like, that doesn't, that's not really a good idea, blah, blah, blah. Versus I just do it. And then I'm like, hey, by the way, I did this thing. This was the outcome. It's like, oh, wow, like that's so cool. So I think, yeah,
yeah.
definitely doing first.
Mm. I think it's like a conviction piece as well. Like you can do the actions and then tell people after, or do the actions and then speak into existence because
Yeah.
you are convicted in the fact that if you have decided this thing for yourself, whether knowing or not, like whether you've realized that you're manifesting or not, you and yourself as a person with the habits you've built and the evidence you've built around the things that you've achieved. If I put my mind to this, if I start taking aligned action and if I speak it, I will get there. By hello high water, I will
Yeah,
get
but
myself
however
there.
that looks. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And if you were going to like give someone a piece of advice in terms of that conviction, in terms of taking aligned action, like what would be your top thing? Like, do this thing and let everything else follow.
Oh, I don't know. I think it's gonna sound so simple, but just take action. Like it doesn't matter, like without thinking, right? Because if you overthink something too much, that's what spirals into you not taking action because you're like, what if the business doesn't work? What if I move and then I can't afford it? It's like obviously live within your means and like do things that are still like safe, but at the same time take the action and don't worry about the consequence almost.
Hmm. I think I needed to hear that a little bit. Maybe that's why I asked. It's like
I
you
love
have, for a lot of people that will listen to this, like we're
yeah.
business owners, we're people making social media content, we are thought leaders in a space, whatever it is, like even thought leaders in a career path. And we are always presented with many options. And for a lot of people, especially like in the UK right now, I'm not sure what the Australia market is like there are many options outside of a career market. There are many options in terms of here's a
Yeah.
million niches that you could niche down for your content, for your business, for this or that and the other. Make a decision. And it's like, well, what decision am I supposed to make? Like, how am I supposed to know that niching down into, I don't know, light bulbs for some person and like Pokemon cards for another? Like, how do
Yeah.
we know that's the right thing for us? And actually, kind of what you're saying there is just start. If you choose
Yeah.
the
You
light
just you
bulbs, start.
yeah.
If you choose the
I guess
Pokemon, start.
that's the thing, right? Like if you think about like for me, right? If I never posted that first video, and I think I posted that first video in 2022, and it was when like Reels and TikTok were very like, oh my god, sorry. Wait,
That's okay.
oh, there's a delivery guy. That's why. Sorry.
Oh.
What was I saying? Oh yeah. Just for me, if I never posted that first video, I posted the first video in I think it was 2022, around mid 2022, and it was when TikTok and Reels were very those voiceovers and like meme style, and that was so uncomfortable for me. I didn't want to dance on camera and do stuff, but I was like, no one's going to see this. there's 100 followers on this account. They don't know me, right? So I was like, I'm just going to do it. What's the worst thing that could happen? If I never did that, I wouldn't have a business, because I never would
Mm,
have, like, I got my confidence in that first 6 months posting before I had clients. But if I think about that all
mm,
the time, like, if I never did that, wouldn't have business. And then I converted my like personal page to the Instagram that I have now. And I think again, like, if I never did that and I never started talking about business and marketing, I wouldn't have the clients that I have, because they've all come through that channel. So it's like,
mm,
yeah, if you just do the thing and then work out the rest later. Like, I never had a niche at the start. I was just targeting business owners, which is really broad. Obviously, there's a
mm,
million business owners in an area. So I just started, and then I was like, okay, well, what do I like? Do I like this? Do I not like this? And I kind of, for me personally, like, my niche isn't necessarily fitness coaches, or I work with a lot of fitness coaches, but not necessarily fitness coaches. It's mostly female business owners. And all my like niche traits are around like personality traits. So like, they're driven, they want a big business, they want to create wealth for themselves, they want to have the ability to, I don't know, go to school, drop off. And it's all similar characteristics to like what I want out of my business. So I guess that's how my niche formed. And
mm.
so it's not, oh, I work specifically with beauticians and only beauticians. It's like, actually, I'll work with anyone, because marketing skills are transferable. It doesn't really matter what the industry is, but you need to have like these sort of traits.
Yeah. And that's so important as well, because those kind of people are willing, at least most of the time, to do the
Mm,
uncomfortable thing, to post
100.
6 months of content that is uncomfy and you don't necessarily love it. And it feels
Yeah.
early and beginner and slightly embarrassing, or whatever the story is. Those kind of people with that kind of personality
Yeah.
grouping will be willing to do those things. And that's what it takes for your marketing, for your business, for whatever, to take
Yeah.
off, because it does take the uncomfortable action to be able to see the results of that and like the compounding effect of that. And that's another thing I'm bang on, like compounding effect. You hear that again and again and again on this podcast, but it's because it works, because
Yeah.
it makes such a difference.
Absolutely. I think too, like, being able to sit in like the stagnancy too, like, something in business that is huge for most business owners is you're not going to get inquiries every single week. So it's like, can you sit in the uncomfortableness of being completely stagnant for 3 months, 6 months, one
Mm.
year? Like, and that is what then pushes you to think outside the box, or pushes you to do more. Or am I being compliant, complacent? Oh my God.
Yeah.
um,
I do that all the time.
yeah, it pushes you to like do more and kind of evolve your mindset at the same time around like, is there something that I should be doing that I'm not doing? No, I know I'm doing everything that I can be, but I need to be comfortable with what's uncomfortable, and that's not getting inquiries all the time, for example. But yeah.
Mm. So cool. I would kind of love to touch on, if you're happy to talk about it, like competitions in and amongst your building your own social like brands, in and amongst building an agency. Like, I don't want to come across as typical, like, how do you balance it all? Because I hate that question when it comes up in a podcast. Like, when someone asks, like a mother or whatever, how do you balance it all? I'm like, well, obviously she does, and she does it well. So just like take notes. But like,
She does.
from the lens of, you have to probably make a lot of decisions in a day to keep all those plates spinning. What's your what's your process in dealing with that? Because a lot of us get mental fatigue when there's so many decisions to have to make, but you
Yeah.
seem to be doing it pretty well. Like, what's your kind of process around that?
I think there's two components to this. One is I just take quick action. Like, I try not to dwell on something for too long. I don't want it to take up too much mental space if it doesn't have to. And the other thing is, like, now with the agency having a business partner, it means that the load's kind of halved there, even though we'll have discussions and, hey, we're going to need to do this proposal, or what do we need to do here? But the other thing for me is everything outside of business is kind of on autopilot. So my fitness coach once said that we only have the capacity to make, I think it's like 1,500 decisions in a day or something, which seems like a lot. But when it's what shirt do I wear? What shoes do I wear? Do I brush my teeth now or in 10 minutes? What do I eat for
Mm,
breakfast? Those decisions, like it's not, it gets taken up
mhm,
really quickly. So for me, everything outside of business is somewhat on autopilot. I have a meal plan, so I don't have to think about what I eat. I wear the same clothes pretty much every day. This is the nicest I've dressed all week. I normally just wear a t-shirt or
it's
activewear
very
and
nice.
thank you. But yeah, I don't have to make those decisions because I'm like, yep, get up, activewear, whatever. Get up, go for a walk, cool. And then I train around that. But by taking the load off, oh, what am I going to eat? What time am I going to eat? It means that then the actual decisions that matter, which is around business
Mm,
predominantly, they take up the most space, if you will. So yeah, quick
mhm,
action or like quick decisions, unless it's obviously something really big, like I don't know, buying an investment property, for example. Obviously, I'm going to think about that for a period of
yeah.
time. I try not to dwell on things that are like on the smaller side. Like if I don't know, if I had like a design choice of like this or this, it's like all right, follow that gut feeling and just make a quick decision. And if it's not the right one, it's not the right one. Yeah, and
Mm,
then remove the choice, like the choices, if you will, the decisions outside of that that you can do. It makes a
mhm,
big difference. I used to be like, oh, will I go to the gym today, or what am I going to eat for breakfast? And then I'd kind of procrastinate half my day and be like, oh, I've been so busy, but I haven't. I've just had a lot of mental fatigue trying to work out silly things.
yeah. Absolutely. I feel like I've had one of those days where it's like, I've been so
Yeah.
busy, I've had so much on, and then I I sat down at about 12, like 12 midday to do my actual to-do list because the mental load was getting a lot. And I started
Yeah.
writing down the things that like were spinning in my head that I needed to get done. And I
Yeah.
have a productivity method journal from Grace Beverly. I'm not sure if you know Grace. I feel like most of the world knows Grace by this point. But I have one of her journals, and it's like split into the 5 minute tasks, the 5 to 30 minute, and then 30 minute plus tasks. And I was splitting them all down, and I was like, wait, this is like 4 bullet points. Like, why am I winding myself up over like the most minuscule daily to do list? I was spinning out about it. I was like, I've got so much to do. I've got no time to do it. And then I actually sat and like thought about it for 5 minutes. What have I actually got to do, and how long is it actually going to take me? And it was like, I could maybe get this all done in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Suddenly, I have a whole day left. And it's like, wait, if we actually just take a step back,
Yeah.
make those quick decisions, absolutely, but also choose bigger problems in terms of if you have to
100%.
post a story set, does that story set take you 30 minutes or does it take you 3 hours? If you have to do
Yep.
your washing today, could you put your washing on and then also wash your dishes from last night that you didn't get to, and also prep
Yeah.
your lunch that you're having today so you can get through with that meeting, whatever, like whatever the scenario is? Can
Yeah.
we choose better
Bigger
problems for
problem.
ourselves?
I think that is so valid. I'm a big fan of habit stacking. So, like, I'll put the washing on while I make my breakfast, for example, or I'll put the washing on, then I'll come up and work for an hour, and then I can go hang it out, put it in the dryer, whatever it is. But it's 100% that choose bigger problems. It's almost like a victim mentality. Like, I think about I used to work with a lot of clients that were like, "Oh, I couldn't post today because I didn't like my hair. My makeup looks shit. I felt horrible. I'm not confident." Whereas like now, the level of problem that my clients have, it's like, oh, hey, how could I make this video better? Like I filmed it, but I'm happy to film it again. Like, what should I do differently? I'm like, okay,
Mhm,
that is a big problem because we're thinking about what's our messaging? Are we hitting the right ideal client?
mhm,
Like, yeah, that's something that actually matters, not, hey, I can't
mhm.
post.
Yeah, this
And it,
like
yeah,
stray little hair is curling around my
yeah,
ear
yeah.
and it's sending me loopy.
Like,
Yeah.
I used to show up on Instagram. I used to not brush my hair, and I'm like, now I realize how much like perception and like presentation matters. I'm like, why did I do that? But I was never someone to be like, oh, I can't show up because I didn't brush my hair today. I'm like, yep, it's in a bun. Who
Mhm,
cares? Like, let's just talk on stories.
mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. There was something in that I was like, "Oh, I wanna pick back up on that," and it's floated out of my brain. This happens a lot, I'm
Awesome.
so sorry. Um, it was along the lines of choosing bigger problems and what your clients were saying. Oh, I've lost it.
It might come back.
It will come back to me. I'm sure I'll start another sentence. I'll be like, oh,
This is
that
it.
thing. Um, but yeah, I do think that like in everyone's lives, we get so caught up in me, myself, and my problems and how awful my day is. And I've got so much to do and I've got no time to do it. And I'm stressed and there's no time for me. And actually, if we do choose better problems for ourselves, decide even that these things like if I'm going to post stories today and I need to have my makeup done and I need to have my hair done, maybe today that will have to just fly. I'll just have to make the stories, but tomorrow I can get up 5 minutes earlier and I can just put on a bit of mascara and brush my eyebrows
Yeah,
out and call it a day. Like, even
100%.
if it's not right in this second that we can make a difference to those things that we're telling ourselves are important, maybe we can pre plan for tomorrow that this is important to me. Today it's been an issue. I'll make it not an issue for tomorrow. And
Yeah.
even planning in things as minuscule as that, again, take off the mental load. You know, you've got your 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get your face done so that you can come on camera confidently. Or so that, you know, okay, I haven't done my washing today because I was overwhelmed. I did this, that, and the other, and I'll get it done tomorrow. Or actually, I really need to sit down and look at this contract for this thing that I'm going to sign, this investment, this new contract with a new client, whatever it is. I need to have space to sit down and think about it. If today is not that day, let it be tomorrow. Let yourself plan it in for the end of the week, whatever, and take care
Yeah.
of future you in that way too.
100%. I love that.
Absolutely. Um, I kind of wanted to really quickly touch on your agency and the process of launching that. Is it something like is it something first of all that you even want to talk about? You feel free to say
Yeah,
no. Um, but is it something that like you had to stew on? Is it something that you did make a quick decision on? Is it like a, you know what, this just felt so aligned, we're going with it?
so when I first launched my business, so current agency now is essentially I contracted for a lady and she was like, hey, we've worked together for 2-3 years, you're the only person I trust, let's merge. Right, so I was still doing contract work in the background, we've like merged, and now moving forward everything is we're business partners. But when I first launched my business, I launched it as an agency because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. I never thought about myself as being a freelancer or just being a sole business. Like I was always had this like big business like brain.
Mm,
And when it came to launch, I didn't do anything outside of like, this is the Instagram page, it has the agency name, and that's what we're going with. So, like, there was no thought process, there was no launch period. It was just, I'm just going to start posting. I'm going to tell people what I
mhm,
do, and I'll start talking to people. And like, my partner obviously helped me network and stuff. And a couple of friends obviously did the same and like referred clients and would message and be like, hey, like I have someone that needs this, this, and this. Is that something you can do? Yep, that's what I can do. And it sort of just worked. Like it worked for me because I just made that
mm,
decision. I was like, yep, today I'm going to post that random TikTok style video and that's the launch.
mm.
So I don't really, yeah, there wasn't much decision behind it. It was just like, yeah, I need to have an agent. Like I make the Instagram account and off I go.
Yeah, and it worked.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah.
I got my first coaching client. I had 184 followers or something crazy, crazy low. And same with social media management. When I got my first social media management client, it was similar. Like I didn't have a whole lot of followers. And that for
Mm,
me was like the evidence that like, oh, okay, cool. Just doing what I'm doing is gonna work.
yeah, because you didn't necessarily need 300,000 followers. You needed the conviction, the skill set that you had, and the ability to go, I'm going to post that TikTok style video.
Yeah,
I'm going to just go out the gate and start posting the content and see what comes of it. And other people, your first client, saw it and thought, that's a bit of me. This is
yeah.
someone that can help me in my thing.
A friend of mine who's also in marketing, she's an ad specialist. She was watching my old content yesterday and sent me a video and was like, "Oh my goodness, you're a little baby. How cute." And I watched that back and I was like, I don't sound confident. whatsoever, but I sounded so convicted in what I was saying. And I think there is a big difference between confidence and conviction. And I was like, obviously, whoever was watching that on the other end went, yeah, she knows her shit. I need to work with her. And it worked for me because I was convicted. I had no confidence talking on camera
Mm.
whatsoever, but I was like, I am so passionate about this thing, and like I know that this like marketing shit and social media stuff works. Like I'm gonna help you, and it just that's what did its thing. No launch period, no like
Yeah.
mapped out, nothing. It was just, and it
Just,
was like
I'm gonna
posting
help
on,
you.
yeah, posting on the fly and being like, if you're this type of business owner, like this is what I do for you. This is how I help you. This is what you need.
Mm, that's so perfect.
Yeah.
So, like, kind of coming back to clients and things, what is your most asked question by new clients? If they're coming into your agency, if they're coming into you yourself, like, what is your most asked question?
Oh, I read this when you sent through the notes, and I was like, I actually don't know what my most asked question is. Um, I actually have no
Or even
idea.
like the
Hey,
topic that comes up the most? What is
I
like the
get a
topic that
lot
you just keep having to bang on about?
of um the fact that they need to post is the first thing. Like the consistency thing. You need to be consistent. You can't just post and ghost. You can't just post once and then seven
Mm,
times and no time. Like that's probably a big conversation. Um, as well as like, oh, I've tried everything. Actually, that's probably a bigger conversation. I've tried everything. I say, okay, have
mm.
you? Well, what have you tried? Oh, I post 7 days a week. Like, that's not trying everything, guys. Trying everything is I've networked, I've email marketed, I've made sure my ideal client is specific, my messaging's on point, my positioning's on point. I've gone to events. I haven't, like, I think that is trying everything. Just posting 7 days a week with shit is not everything.
Mhm.
They're probably the two
And
biggest
why doesn't
conversations.
that work? Like, in your opinion, why doesn't that work?
Volume has its place. Like the amount of content we post definitely has its place. But if you're posting something that's not resonating with the audience, you're not talking to experiences or feelings or their desires, they're going to see it and they like just completely don't relate. They'll keep scrolling past. So if you're doing that 7 days a week, skip, skip, skip. So, for example, a woman that wants glutes, that's like, watching this video of, hey, here's 5 exercises to grow your glutes. She's going to save that and she's going to try it in the gym and it's not going to work. But she doesn't know that you're the solution to her problem of not having glutes. She just knows that you were the girl that gave her the 5 exercises that didn't work. Whereas if
Mm,
you're specific to, are you doing XYZ in the gym and you're not seeing glute growth, you've been at it for 3 to 6 months, here's what I would do instead. This is what I do with my clients. It's like, oh, I do have that experience. I have been trying for that long and I haven't seen the result that I want. She must be able to help me. So, 7 days a
mm.
week, all well and good. But if it's just shit content that has no relevance and it's not specific enough, it's not really going to do much for you.
I think that's such a good shift. Like,
Yeah.
even just that tiny thing of like, okay, so instead of being the person giving educational advice of do this thing,
Yeah.
you will get these results. But if you click off of this 60-second reel, 5 slide carousel, like that's your lot. Like that's all I can
Yeah.
give you right now. Versus here's a point on how, why, what might be going wrong for you in this specific scenario. Here's how it could go right for you. And by the way, I teach people this.
Exactly. And
I
a lot of
I solve this problem for you.
yeah, heaps of people forget that I solve this problem. And it's like, guys, sell yourself. Oh, I don't want to be salesy. No, sell yourself. That is what you're here for. You're giving a solution to a problem. Like they need to hear this. And I think on
Mm,
that too, that just made me think of something else. Something else that comes up a lot with clients is, oh, I don't want to give away too much information. There's, oh, I don't want to tell them all the secrets. I'm like, yep, okay. Well, we have an abundance of education between YouTube, AI, social media platforms. Like anyone could source anything. I know a handful of people that are using ChatGPT for gym programs, meal plans, like how to grow their business, right? But none of that is specific to the person. Like working one on one with someone is always going to be a matter of troubleshooting their specific problem and getting them the specific thing that they want. So, like, in my opinion, there's no such thing as giving away too much information because I could post everything I know about marketing. Someone comes into my business, they still don't know how to apply all of that to their situation. And that's where then we work one on one to fix that.
And that's the magic, isn't it? It's the
Yeah.
application of the knowledge.
100%.
We think that, oh, like I've got to guard this thing, like this is the best kept secret.
Yeah.
Like exactly like you said, if I plug this into an AI bot, they are most likely 10 times out of 10 going to give me a response. Whether it is the
Yeah.
greatest response in the world or absolute rubbish, it is
Yeah.
going to give you a response. And it's probably going to be nothing to do with what you actually need. Whether that's because you don't know how to plug in the prompt properly, you haven't loaded it with all of like your metrics and history and this, that, and the other, like whatever it is,
Yeah.
it's never going to give you the application that is necessary, the support that is necessary, the check ins, the whatever to deliver a result that is gonna make you happy.
Yeah. The other thing
And
too is like different people work in different ways. So like I have clients that
mm,
don't need me in between calls. Like we'll do fortnightly calls. They don't need to ask questions. They just apply, essentially. Then I have clients that I need to go out of my way to check in every 2, 3 days to be like, hey, have we done this task? Yeah, we have. Okay, cool. I want you to do this one next. There's probably a little bit more hand holding. And it's like dependent on lifestyle and if they're a parent, if they're not a parent, or how busy they are and whatever. But an AI bot can't check in on you every 2 days and be like, hey Alex, did you do that thing?
yeah.
No. Are you going to lie to the AI bot? Probably. Are you going to lie to me? Probably not. Do you know what I'm like? So I guess that's like that too. When people are like, "Oh, AI like is going to replace people," like it's never going to replace people ever, because you like what you give someone and the service that you provide them is just irreplaceable. Human connection is like the biggest
Mm,
thing.
exactly, because even in this episode, 3, 4, 5 of the things you've already said in 50 minutes has already hit harder for me than anything about a random Instagram reel that I might scroll across and scroll past again. Like
Yeah.
this conversation has embedded more things for me in 50 minutes than I could even possibly hope to find on a 6-hour doom scroll or from 6 hours spent with chat. Like,
Yeah.
it's so life-changing to just be able to connect with a human and say, "This is something that I'm struggling with," and being vulnerable in it and saying, "I really want help with it." In literally whatever scenario, whether this is you're coming to a chef and you're like, "I don't know how to cook, bro, like, help me out." Or if you're coming to a fitness coach saying, "I am doing more hip thrusts than you could imagine, and yet I am still flat as a pancake, what is going on?" Or if it's coming to a mindset coach like me and saying, like, "I'm working on this thing, this, and this thing, and I'm just really struggling to piece it all together, to move forward, whatever, whatever. Help me." That conversation even will do so much more for you than you could possibly hope to get with a bot.
And the bot doesn't have feelings, right? There's no emotional intelligence when it comes to talking to an AI bot. Like, if I went in with a mindset issue, it's not going to be like, oh, yeah, the root cause is probably XYZ. Let's explore that. No, it's going to be like,
Mm,
hey, just keep going. Like,
mhm.
yeah, it's just so different.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good for some things, obviously, but it's not good for
Mhm.
everything.
It's good for your automated tasks. It's good for
Yeah,
just like a quick back and
wisdom.
forth and whatever it is you need a back and forth on. But yeah, we
Yeah.
just can't replace humans. And that is that on that. But I did want to ask you, um, coming like out of this episode, I would love to give like everyone listening something to do in their week this week that will progress them in their marketing, in their business, in their goal for the week. What would be like your top tip? You're like, if I give you anything, take
This
this
is
away and do something with it and see if it changes something for you.
okay. I have a few things. So I'm just going to rattle off a few things. One is off the back of the AI thing. So it's scrap the AI for this week and talk like a human, because something that we're seeing a lot is AI just regurgitating shit out for people. And they just, if someone knows you, they're going to know that that's not you, right? So put the AI to bed for 1 week and just talk like a human, talk about your experiences, what your clients are seeing, clients are experiencing, and give some like value out of that, of like, here's a few things that you could implement. The other thing is sell, because so many people don't actually sell in their business. So jump on stories and put at least one or two call to actions, sell your service, show people what you can do. And something else that moved there. Probably plan ahead for content, like feed content. Plan out 2 or 3 concepts for the week. One that is around like personal values or like personal experience storytelling, one that is around a client win or a client result, and one that is a piece of educational content or value content, but perspective shifts. So something that you think your client is doing, something that you think about, sorry, let me rephrase that. Something that your client thinks is the problem. And then I want you to shift their perspective and tell them what the actual problem is. So like an example of that would be like, I don't know, fitness. I always go back to fitness because it's just the people I work with the most. But I can't lose weight because my metabolism is shit, right? That's what this ideal client says. It's the reason you're not losing weight isn't because your metabolism is crap. It's because you're not in a calorie deficit. You're not hydrated enough. You're not sleeping enough. You know, whatever the actual reason is, do that in that piece of educational content, because that's the thing that shows them that you know your shit. And that's my advice.
Mic drop. I'm taking fucking notes, quite frankly. Like,
You're gonna go do
you've
this
just
week.
whipped me into shape.
I'm very
Like,
like, I want to keep it simple for people. Like I'm never gonna tell someone that they need to. I had a client that was like, should I post every day? Should I spam trial reels? I'm like, do you have time for that? No. I'm like, then no, we should not do that. Like, let's keep it simple. Everything relates to ideal client, value, client wins, personal brand. Like they're the big things. Personal brand's the connection piece, and a lot of people forget that.
mm,
So
yeah. You've like, oh, mic drop moment. I I'm literally gonna have to listen back to this, write down my to-do list, and go, okay, I'm posting this week. This is the content plan for this, because I myself feel like I even needed this call. Like it was divine intervention going, get on this podcast call with
I
Tiana
love
and get it into shape, girl.
that's the best.
I love it too. I love it so much. I think that is so useful. Like you couldn't have given a more useful answer if you tried, because that is laid out so clear. Like everyone is going to be able to just 1, 2, 3. If I've not hit these 3 things, it's not complete. I need to get it
Yeah,
done. That
100%.
yeah, that is so helpful. Everyone listening to this episode, write it down and make sure you are getting it done this week, because it will make a difference to your social media content, simply because we know it makes a difference to Tiana's and to her agencies and to her clients that pay her for this advice. We are getting it for free. So make sure you are utilizing it and actually seeing some results. Please let Tiana know if anything changes as a result of what she's just told you. I will
Would
certainly be
love,
dropping her a DM saying, okay, I posted this thing. I posted this thing. Are you proud of me?
absolutely, I will be proud.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I would love to kind of shift the conversation a little bit deeper, a little bit away from business, and talk to you a little bit about purpose. So, this is a recurring theme. I love to talk about this on the podcast. Do you believe in purpose? Do you feel like you found it? If you don't believe in it, what's your kind of thought patterns around that? Like, what is purpose for you?
I feel like everyone has a purpose, right? And I don't necessarily think my purpose is to be a marketing consultant or a coach or what, do you know what I mean? But I think my purpose is to help people and like provide a clearer path for what they're trying to do. So I don't know if that's going to evolve over time and it's going to be like a completely different business, whatever. But like, I feel like I'm just here to help people in one way or another. And I think the way I just do that in so many avenues. Like my best friend was like, "Did you know she said to me one day, she was like, you're the most generous person I know. And I went, oh, thanks. Like, I don't really do anything. She goes, no. But every time I open Facebook, we're in this girls group, this local girls group. She's like, you're in there commenting on someone's post, giving them advice for the best gym to go to, a fitness coach recommendation, a hairdresser recommendation. She's like, I don't know anyone that does that. I'm like, I just want to help people. I'm just happy to give them if I
Mm,
know something, I'm happy to give it to them. So I think purpose isn't always the job you do, but maybe like, yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't know how to explain that. Does that make sense though? Like it's
mm, it
not
absolutely
always
makes sense, yeah.
business. Yeah. Mine's not to be a marketing coach. I really don't think that that is my purpose. My purpose is just to like guide people or help people in one way or another in whatever that looks
Mm,
like.
that's so nice. Like that nice isn't even the right word. That's like so like I can't even find the words right now. I'm about to say deeply hearted, and that is not English in any sense of the word, but that is
I
what is
know what you
coming to my brain. You're so deeply hearted, Tiana.
thank
You
you.
are,
I think it's one of
yeah,
those
that is a
things.
very kind thing.
Yeah, but you can feel when it's the right thing. Do you know what I mean? Like you can feel when
Mm,
you're in an unaligned state versus an aligned state. And it's like, again, like me giving all the info that I know in whatever capacity, like how to invest, how to do something in the gym, how to what, like that. I'm like, that makes me
mm,
so happy. I'm like, okay, this is the thing I'm meant to be doing. That's why I'm here to just like
mm.
give info.
Absolutely. And I feel that because it's the same for me. Like when I get on a
Yeah,
coaching call, when I get on a podcast, and like I know that I'm delivering something of value to people, I know that this conversation, whether it reaches someone tomorrow or if it reaches someone in a year's time, it's
100.
going to change something for them, whether it's one thing like the
Yeah,
feeling into your body or listening to that whisper of something that's telling you this is your intuition, or whether it's these are the next five things you should do in your marketing because it's going to turn around your business, whatever, whatever. If any of this impacts someone, it is worth it to me and it lights up my soul and I get like such a high from it. And there is nothing that compares to this for me. So I know that this right now, at least, is my
yeah,
purpose going forward. So like, I love that. That makes me warm and cozy inside.
yeah. Oh, that's the best.
I love that. And on this kind of same route, what does a life look like for you beyond negative thoughts, beyond like negative thought patterns, beyond having thoughts to say, no, you shouldn't choose this, choose the easier path, choose the path of least resistance, like, don't do the thing that might necessarily be best for you, do this thing instead. What does living a life beyond that look like for you if you've reached it? And if not, how are you managing it?
I feel like that just doesn't exist in my world. Like it sounds so
Mm,
like if I like don't get me wrong, there's been days where it's like, I don't want to be a business owner. I'd rather just be an employee, whatever. It lasts all of 10 minutes. And I'm like, nope, I'm here for a bigger purpose. Like this is the thing. So I think yeah, I don't know. I just try not to entertain the negative thoughts, not for a long period of time. And if there is something, I try to work out what the root cause of it is. But I was very lucky that my first mentor when I started my business was actually a mindset coach. So she was business and mindset. So everything that I came in to her that was a business problem was actually a mindset problem. So
mm,
I always refer back to that and I'm like, okay, do we have a root cause here? Are we just having a moment? Are we not having a moment? So I think I'm
mm,
already living beyond that, if that makes sense.
mhm. Yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
cool. And I feel like that does actually resonate in everything you've been saying. You aren't
yeah,
letting negative thoughts like spirals, cycles, whatever, impact you to the point where it's derailing anything for you or you're creating unaligned habits because of it. Like
yeah.
everything you've said up until now has really like resonated in that. So yeah, I love that.
I think like too, there's definitely times where like, yeah, validate the thoughts and they're legitimate things to be concerned about, what like depending on what it is. But I think I guess it goes back to choosing bigger problems as well. and that conversation of, okay, well, is this actually a problem or am I making it a problem? And then
Mm.
moving forward. But I think if
Choose
you,
big girl problems.
yeah, like if you let the most minor inconvenience derail your progress, whatever it is, in the gym, in business, towards purchasing something that you really want, career, I think what happens when there's an actual bigger problem? It's like, then what?
Mm.
How do you handle that? Whereas if the little ones are just like little bumps in the road, it's like, okay, cool. I'm just going to drive around that pothole. I'm just going to go over that speed bump. Then when you actually have a big problem, it's like, okay, what do I need to do? I'm like resilient enough to probably still move through this.
Mm. I love that. It's kind of like be your own rock, like be your own
Yeah.
stability, be your own safety, so that if and when those things do come along, you are able to, like you said, skip
Yeah.
over that bump, avoid the pothole, whatever it is, or even go in the pothole and know that you're going to be able to get yourself out of it.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
probably easier said than done too, but I guess from the perspective of like always working on like personal development and mindset, I think that is a big game changer for whatever you do in life, whether it's being a business owner or just being an employee for somebody. I think constantly working on your personal development is what teaches you resilience, and pushing through
Mm,
the hard shit is what gets you through the hard shit.
absolutely. Because you know, if you've survived that thing, there are many other less, greater, whatever things that you can survive. Yeah, I love that advice. That's such good advice. And I
100%.
heavily, as a mindset coach, as a life coach, as whatever you want to call me, as someone that hosts this little podcast, I very much advocate for self-development, for
Yeah.
just giving yourself the tools and ability and the awareness and the emotional intelligence and everything else that comes with this work to be able to just deal with life. There are so many grown people I am aware of on this planet that do not know how to deal with their own emotions, with their own problems, like with any kind
100%.
of bump in the road, they don't know how to deal with it. Like everything is just thrown out the pram, chuck the dummy on the
Yeah.
ground, like don't know how to deal. Do you want to be
Imagine,
that person?
yeah. The way I look at it too is like when you're a child, you go to mum and dad and you're like, this kid bit me, right? And this kid at school bit me. And mum and dad either give you a solution to the problem, this is how we would handle it next time, or they go and talk to the teacher for you, right? If they go and talk to the teacher, that doesn't really help you. You don't really move forward. But if they give you a solution or advice or something that can move you forward next time, you then become self sufficient enough to either bite the kid back or say, no, I don't like
Yeah.
that. So I guess it's like, and it's like that thing of you don't always have someone to run to. When you're in your 50s, maybe your parents aren't there. Who are you going to run to and say, hey, how do I do this thing? So you can't always be
Mm,
reliant on others. But if you do that inner work and the personal development and look at your mindset towards things, then you can be self sufficient in most things that you do.
mm, 100%. I think that's such a good note to leave off the heavy with. Let me ask you about fun, exciting things that you're getting up to outside of work, outside of personal development and all those things, all those yummy, lovely things that we do, me and you love, and everyone listening probably loves too. What are you getting up to that's fun outside of the industry?
Ooh, well, I mean, anyone that follows me would know this, but your audience won't know this. But I'm actually an amateur bodybuilder, so that's fun for me.
Mm,
I compete here and there. I've done a couple of shows, so that's fun. And then outside of that, honestly, not a whole lot. I just like to be in the sun. I like to play with my dog. And then me and my husband just like to, we're homebodies. We don't love going out and doing things. So if we go out and do things, it's bowling, mini golf, sweet treats. That's a big one for us. But yeah,
very important, actually.
absolutely. That's the most important thing. It happens on a weekly basis, sometimes twice a week. But yeah, that's the fun that we get up to.
That's so cool. And I feel like I haven't even asked you anything to do with bodybuilding and competitions and stuff. Maybe we have to run it back and do another episode and kind of talk a little bit more to that because that is like a whole other ball game of which I have no experience in.
Oh my
Maybe
god, I
one
would
day
love.
I would love to.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's run it back for another episode and we'll do a really in-depth one on bodybuilding and competitions and prepping and
I
all those
feel
good
like
things. I think that'll be
that'll
such
be
a
a
good
cool
episode.
conversation. That'll be a cool conversation for mindset though, because like the whole reason I do it is to stretch my capacity to do and hold more. Like it's all a personal development mindset thing. But it's interesting, it correlates to business as well. So that would be really, really cool.
Wait, can we just like hit pause and start the episode? I want to know all about this. Okay, we're gonna have to get it
Okay.
scheduled. We will get it on the diary for you guys. Don't you worry. I am making sure we get this conversation happening. But I love that. That sounds so sounds so good. And we had a little bark from your dog earlier. I wish we
Yeah.
could have a little cuddle in person because I love dogs. But maybe when I go over to Australia at some point, I can pop over and have a little cuddle with your dog.
I love that. He's the world's like cuddliest boy. He just loves humans and he just has to be touching at all times.
Oh,
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, he
I
is.
want to
He
give
really
you
is.
a chance. Yeah. I want to give you a chance to plug anything that we can get our hands on because, quite frankly, those 5 tips you gave, 3, 4, 5 tips, however many it was, that I need to go back and listen to and write down, they were gold. So, where else can we get hold of you, get hold of your services?
So Instagram's probably the easiest place to find me. I'm like it's Tiana Lee W. So Tiana TianaLeighw. And then in terms of like, I don't have a whole lot of like static offers, if you will, because I'm very big on like the one-on-one and like making it custom to what you need for your business. But I do have a masterclass in there, which is like a nice little taster of what I do, and that goes through essentially like how I structure content to make sure that it converts and like a little framework that I use. And then otherwise, it's basically just like one on one. I do one off calls and that too, but all my feed is just marketing content.
Absolutely. And I eat it up every time. It's so good. I love it. Thank
Love
you
that.
so much for this episode. I
Thank you for having
have taken
me.
away so much already. It's been an hour. We have another one already getting scheduled that's going to be even more gems, especially for me as a mindset coach. Like you teasing a little bit of that. I'm like, oh, give me more.
I love the mindset talk.
Amazing. We will get that scheduled. But thank you so much for being on. I think
Thank you
this
for
is
having
going to be such a valuable episode for other people. And it's just going to be, yeah, it's going to be a very cool one for
me.
us to look back on in a couple
Oh,
years' time and think, wow, Tiana was talking about this then, and look where she is now. Like, oh, I'm so excited for it for you and for me to be able to look back on as well and see where we are both were and where we're going. Oh, yeah. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone, for listening to this episode of the Alex Beyond Thoughts podcast. Just know there is more juice coming your way. I will see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.
bye.